Hello everybody, this is Dr. Swati live from Los Angeles. December 10th morning, I'm having my cup of tea, and those of you who are not in my time zone, I assume you may be drinking something or just simply watching the show without having any drink in your hands. That reminds me, I need to put my earphones and my mic so you can hear me better. So far we have been focusing on the quest that people have, which is typically quest of happiness and quest of having better relationships. And there is a third type of quest that we haven't really talked about that much, which is when they want to work on a project. It could be a career related goal or starting your own business. Um, those of you who may not be actually doing that, even for them, this discussion will still be useful because there are a lot of elements of what we are going to talk about that are relevant no matter what you are choosing to do in life. And it doesn't have to be a career, it could be a project that you're taking up in your personal life, it could be volunteering, it could be something you're doing at home. So there is one mythological story from Indian mythology that comes to my mind when I think about work. There was this one really famous prince who was being taught by his teacher, his guru, the art of archery. And there were, in fact, not just him, but his brothers as well. So, like 5 or 6 prince who were being taught the art of archery by the teacher. When each person went, there was a bird in the tree. It wasn't a real bird, so let's not get into violent acts. It was a fake bird, and the bird's eye was supposed to be the goal for this archery. So, whenever any prince went there and this guru was teaching them how to hold the arrow and the bow, and how to actually let the arrow go there, the guru was asking the prince, what do you see there? And each one of them replied something that, there's a tree, there are leaves, I see a bird, I see I see the bird's feathers, a lot of different kind of answers. So this one prince, the prince who we are going to pay attention to the most, his name was Arjun. And when Arjun went to learn the art of archery from this person, from this guru, the guru asked him the same question, what do you see? He said, I see the eye of the bird and nothing else. The only thing he could see was the eye of the bird because that's where he wanted the arrow to go. And obviously, Arjun became the best archer in the whole country. Now, when I think about this particular story, I think about obviously focus. So you need to have what would be called a single-minded, narrow focus on your goal. So now the question is, our philosophy of mindfulness, does that fit into this notion of single-minded, narrow focus? So there are two ways in which we can look at it. First of all, when you think about focus and when you think about the mindfulness meditation that we are doing, which is breath awareness, body awareness, especially these two meditations, we are developing focus. Whenever we start paying attention to something, our mind wanders. No matter what the project is, no matter how much we are in love with the project, our mind will be tempted by other things. So we train our mind to come back to whatever we are supposed to pay attention to. In that sense, we are developing focus. There is something called flow, right? A state of flow that this scientist in Chicago, University of Chicago, a psychologist, um, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, he came up with this idea of the flow. So when you really have passion for something, for a task, then you feel like you're in sync with the task. You can forget the time, you can forget everything else. And that flow is what makes it worth it for us to spend time. Or that is what you, in some sense, are born for. Um, so that's the type of focus Mihai Csikszentmihalyi also is talking about in the idea of flow, which in some sense what was Arjun was talking about. He couldn't see anything else. He could see only the eye of the bird. So this focus is important when we are working on any project, when we have some kind of a goal, in the following sense, that not when you are in the process of flow, but outside of it, your mind will wander around. Your mind could be tempted by thousands of things you want to do. But when you have decided to do something, then you do need to learn the art of bringing your attention back to your whatever you have decided. When you are in the process of flow or the process of Arjun's focus, it's different. But let's face it, when you are working in your life on something, not everything is going to be about flow. There will be tasks that you need to do that may seem like drudgery. You will not want to do those parts of your project, but you still want to have some amount of training or some amount of focus, some amount of ability to let go of the temptation, the aversion of these drudgery tasks, and still come back to your flow. So, as you can see, where I'm getting at is how mindfulness training is going to help you with these kind of like work related things or projects. So, when we think about focus, yes, we do develop focus when it comes to whatever it is that you want to achieve. When you are in the flow, when you are in the state of flow, you may not need that focus. But when there are certain kinds of things that you need to do and you're tempted to leave the task, you do need the mindfulness type of focus. But there are a lot of other ways in which mindfulness training is going to be used in not only your workplace, but whatever project you're working on. Patience. You need to have patience. If you are choosing a career goal, or let's say you're starting your own business or your own whatever it is, and you are not sure if it is going to be successful or not, I would suggest, think about a time frame like 3 years, 10 years, whatever it is that practically speaking or otherwise seems like a right period for you. Once you choose that, it's like meditation. I always tell you, when you think about doing the meditation for 20 minutes, do it for 20 minutes. 2 minutes, do it for 2 minutes. So when you have decided the time period, try to stick to that time period. Even when you experience failures, even when you are tempted to do other things, your mindfulness training should teach you how to sit through those things, how to bounce back, how to, in fact, not leave whatever you're doing, but keep coming back to whatever that you have planned to do. So that would be one way in which your mindfulness training will explicitly help you to stick to your project for as long as you have decided. And that's a very important skill. Of course, life intrudes. Of course, sometimes there may be some events that you just did not anticipate. Not anticipating events, unpredictable events, that's okay, that you can sit through. But sometimes there may be some serious things or certain kinds of things that will slow you down, but that's okay. Try not to leave the project. What if you are afraid that you're going to fail? You want to decide if it is your fear of failure or if it is your gut feeling. So what do? Obviously, you do meditations to come up with insight or to come up with intuition versus anxiety. Take away the stories of failure and just pay attention to what your gut feeling is. So that's another way in which you can use your feeling awareness or your contemplation type of mindfulness meditations. There are other ways in which you can also use mindfulness training. I have talked about creativity and mindfulness, innovative thinking and mindfulness. In today's world, whatever work you're doing, it's not going to be just what one would be called like manufacturing assembly line type of work in most cases. There will be an element of innovation, element of creativity, element of what do I do with this situation. So what is called knowledge workers, people who work with information, people who need certain kind of processing knowledge. And so for these kinds of jobs or projects, you need to have innovative, creative problem solving capability. And mindfulness meditation is going to give you that. So there are a lot of ways in which you can use mindfulness training to complete the project. Now, of course, we had only 3 months, and you may not be able to finish whatever you're trying to do in 3 months. Some of it, as I said, think about it, 3 years, 5 years, whatever you decide, stick to it. Keep coming back to your project, even if certain other things slow you down. Now, I'm going to leave you with two people who have worked in this area, who do coaching in this area, but they also have material that you can find on the internet, and one of them has a book as well. So I'm going to show you their work when it comes to work-related mindfulness. One person is Mirabai Bush. Let me do screen share with you. Okay, so Mirabai Bush, as you can see, her last name is Bush, and working with mindfulness. So this is her website. That's not the only thing that you want to look at. She also has books. It is this one here. If you go to her website, you will be able to see it. That you will be able to see that she has books, and the books, those of you who are interested in using mindfulness, if you are on a career path and you would like to see how to use mindfulness in organizations, foundations, research and applications. So that's a good book for that purpose. And then there's someone else I would like to talk about. His name is Jeremy Hunter. Jeremy Hunter teaches at Claremont Graduate School, Peter Drucker Graduate School of Management. And let me show you first of all Jeremy Hunter. I hope you guys can see it. So Jeremy Hunter, who is, and Mirabai Bush, both of them have been very serious practitioners of meditation. And they also have had, Mirabai Bush had her own business. And Jeremy Hunter, he has done research for his thesis under Mihai, the flow person that I talked about. And then he has been also teaching and he has been coaching. So on his website, there is this resources. If you go under resources, there is some really cool material that you can read. Mindfulness, where business and behavioral sciences interact. So how innovation and creativity can be used. And he also talks about how workplace has changed. Whatever project or career goal you have, it's not going to be just a simple thing anymore. It's going to be a lot more than just focus. You need a lot more, which is basically innovative thinking. I hope you could see it. This is Jeremy Hunter's website. So Jeremy Hunter and Mirabai